Hey everyone, John from Nintendo Life here, and I am joined with the legendary Alex Olney.
Hello, I'm flying.
So Alex, they just revealed the Zelda and Loftwing Amiibo for The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD.
They bloomin' did.
And basically what this does is you can scan it in at any moment, and it will take you back to the sky, and if you scan it again, it will take you back to the place where you scanned it originally. So it is quick travel on an Amiibo. We'll get further into this in a moment, but what are your initial thoughts on that?
Well, my initial thoughts, before I actually looked into it further, were, okay. But obviously I'm not super familiar with Skyward Sword, as anyone who's a fan of the channel may well know. So it didn't kind of really sort of compute in my head. And then I actually watched the trailer and I was like, hang on, that's Furore's Wind.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm not over the moon, to be honest, because don't get me wrong, I love Amiibo, but I much prefer when they don't put like functional quality of life features on them.
And here's the thing too, we don't really know what Skyward Sword HD is doing to bring quality of life features so far. Like the game's been revealed since the beginning of the year, and all we really know is it's 60 FPS. We know that you can use the motion controls via the analog stick if you want to, and that's more or less it. Whereas Twilight Princess HD, they sped up the climbing animations, they made it so you don't have to like fish twice for the cat at the start, they gave you that new pose light for the darkness. There's a lot more they did in that game, and we don't know any of that stuff yet. And I'm not saying Skyward Sword HD won't have any of that, but it's bizarre to reveal Amiibo functionality before like any of the important stuff.
Well, I suppose the fact is that they're trying to sell the Amiibo, and to be honest, they're probably going to do all right out of it, let's not lie. I'm probably going to end up buying this thing regardless. You know, they're trying to sell the Amiibo, and naturally, that's kind of like a key feature, so I'm not entirely surprised they've done it this way round. I mean, whoa.
What's strange too is Twilight Princess HD, it was sold naturally, like the default bundle was the Amiibo bundle with Wolf Link. So that was $49.99 to get the Wolf Link and game bundle, whereas the game itself was sold for $39.99. But this though, for Skyward Sword HD it's $49.99 for the game, and they haven't revealed the Amiibo price, but Amiibo tend to range between 15 and 20 now, where 20 are usually the Zelda ones. So it looks like we're gonna have a pricey day.
I swear, I'm gonna sound like an old man. I swear Amiibo were all like £11 flat.
They used to be.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not so sure I would buy this then. At that price, that's a bit too much. I mean, yes, it's a gorgeous looking figure. You know, I don't think anyone's going to be arguing against that fact. You know, seeing Falco and Zelda so close together, it's a dream come true. But at the same time, bloody hell, 20 quid. I mean, yeah, they're very nice figurines, but I've got some Amiibo with some, like, pretty substantial paint defects, and the risk of buying one of these, certainly in the current climate where I'm not going to go to a shop, let's put it that way, I'd want it to be perfect for that price.
Honestly, I don't really use Amiibo. I buy a lot of Amiibo, mostly because I'm stuck in the Amiibo wormhole now, especially the Zelda wormhole. But I tend to just use them as figurines, because they're official Nintendo merchandise, and that's really how I view them. I don't think I've used a Smash Amiibo since Smash Bros. For Wii U, and I definitely didn't use the Link's Awakening Amiibo, because that allows you to save your created dungeons from the Dampe Dungeon Builder, which I had no desire to share with anyone. But this though, I will use the quick travel feature, which I am going to buy the Amiibo just because I am a collector. But it does bug me that such a useful feature is locked behind a premium like this, especially when I don't think most Amiibo collectors use their Amiibo.
Yeah, I mean, I know I bloomin' don't. I mean, you know, I've got a Ridley Amiibo, I've got the Banjo Amiibo, I've got loads of others as well. I'm just looking at the ones on my desk. You know, KK Slider, Isabelle, 8-Bit Mario, Olimar. I don't think I've ever used any of them except 8-Bit Mario, and that's because it had functionality in Super Mario Maker. All the others, like Ridley, Banjo, I know for a fact, I have never used... Oh, no, I tell a lie. I did use them briefly in Miitopia, and I got just some random items, like some tickets, as in, like, the demo of Miitopia. And, yeah, that was disappointing. I wanted a Ridley hat.
That's what I want in real life, but they just don't sell them. But I guess there is potential for future use, because Amiibo do tend to come back, especially the Zelda line, for later games. Like in Breath of the Wild, you could scan in all of the Zelda Amiibo and you'd get costumes for Link or for scanning in Zelda. So this will likely have some functionality in Breath of the Wild 2. And I've said in the past, like, maybe it'll give you a Loftwing in that game.
I was about to say, you've speculated on this in the past that you might be able to get a Loftwing, so yeah, it's not impossible.
The difference, though, is when they revealed Twilight Princess HD with the Wolf Link Amiibo, they said outright that this will have functionality in Zelda Wii U. And it did, but with this, they're just specifying Skyward Sword HD.
Yeah.
So I'm not that confident that this is going to have a grander use. And if a Loftwing is in Breath of the Wild 2, then I'll look at this Amiibo in a much higher regard. But as of right now, it just kind of bugs me.
To be fair, at the same time, when the Wolf Link Amiibo was revealed, we had no idea realistically what the functionality would be in.
No.
Because we weren't familiar with Breath of the Wild. But now that we are familiar with Breath of the Wild, and in theory, if this does have functionality, I can see why they wouldn't advertise that fact and potentially give spoilers away before we've even really seen any gameplay of Breath of the Wild 2. So that's a possibility, but who knows? I might be hoping against hope.
That's definitely possible, for sure. And I guess as well, with the Wolf Link Amiibo, that technically also gated content behind a figurine. The big difference, though, is most people had the figurine with the game, because it was sold as the default bundle. But what that did was that gave you the Cave of Shadows, which is basically, you're locked as Wolf Link the entire time, and you fight waves and waves of enemies. So it's similar to a cave that's already in the game, you just play as Wolf Link. So it's not major content, and it was kind of given to everyone who bought the physical bundle anyway. So that doesn't feel as, egregious as this.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't major content. It's not like it's unlocking a whole new dungeon or something, which I would be far more upset about. But at the same time, this is the kind of functionality that... I mean, I don't know, because again, I'm not, hugely familiar with Skyward Sword. Feel free to tell me otherwise. But I sort of feel like this is primarily going to be useful for things like dungeons when you need items and things like that. And so, is it going to be arguably, I don't want to say a cheat code, but a little bit too easy? I mean, tell me I'm wrong if I am.
No, I mean, this isn't a game where you have to be in, 4 places at once. I mean, there's definitely times we have to return to Skyloft and upgrade your armor or something like that, or upgrade the shield at least. But yeah, it's not something you'll be using all the time. But it does definitely shave off a few minutes, returning, let's say you finish the Farron Woods and you want to return to Skyloft. Just tapping the Amiibo, that's faster than going back to find a statue. It's not that much faster, but it's definitely something that would improve, the flow of the game.
Which sort of, to me, that even more so now just sounds like that should be a function just in the game, rather than, locked behind. I mean, let's not deny, Amiibo, when it comes to functionality in anything they have, unless you can unlock it also in the game, it's a paywall. That's essentially what it is. It's a very nice paywall, and you get a physical thing out of it, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it is still a paywall. And for that kind of functionality, I would expect that functionality to be in the game outright. Maybe not in, hero mode, if there is one. That'd be good. I always like hero mode.
I mean, you do pay for them. It is kind of like buying DLC in a sense. DLC that you can use from, game to game. But it's just a different type, I prefer it much more when Amiibo content is cosmetic. Like in Mario Maker, that was the perfect example of Amiibo. Just being able to scan in everything you want and being able to wear a Link costume or a Samus costume. And it's not just locked, to the people who scan in the Amiibo, because if you're playing someone's level who's put in that content, you can become those costumes regardless if you bought them. It's just a nice little alternative for those who've gone out of their way to buy the figurines. Whereas this just feels like something different entirely. As I was saying earlier, it does just kind of bug me, because the Zelda remasters, I don't really buy them for the visuals. I know this is Skyward Sword HD and Twilight Princess HD, but that's not why I'm buying them. I'm buying them because I want to see how they've improved the games. And Twilight Princess HD did a lot of that, and Wind Waker did too. And we still just don't know what Skyward Sword's done. And out of all the 3D Zeldas, Skyward Sword is the one that needs the improvements.
Yeah, I mean, the reason that I'm not very familiar with Skyward Sword is because I got to the Farron Woods and I was so bored, and for memory, didn't even really know what to do. I just gave up, and that has never happened for me with a Zelda game, ever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm someone who does like Skyward Sword a lot. I think the dungeons are some of the best in the series, but there's just so much padding in there that needs to be toned down, and they did that in the prior HD remasters. Like the Tears of Light and Twilight Princess, they just had fewer of them. And technically that's cutting content, but it's content that was filler. And I'm okay with that.
It's trimming the fat, and it's not the sort of... I'm not expecting them to do like a big presentation of, hey, look at everything that we've removed, because it just kind of... I mean, for people who know about the games, it sounds good, but for people who don't, it's like, why have you removed gameplay? That's a bad... So yeah, I'm not expecting them to like sing from the rooftops, hey, you know, we moved these islands in the sky closer together or something. You can tell I'm not familiar with the game. Or, you know, we made it so that Fee doesn't let you know when you're running low on battery. I mean, really, that really needs to be done. Even I know about that.
Well, let's put this in a different circumstance then, because we don't like the feature they put on this Amiibo. What would we rather it do? Like when you scan in the Loftwing Amiibo, what would you like it to do?
I don't know whether it's like a feature in the game at all, but I know that obviously Link doesn't start off in his hero outfit, you know, the hero's tunic. So maybe if scanning this Amiibo, kind of a bit like in Wind Waker, where you could in the New Game Plus, it may not have been called Hero Mode back then, you were wearing your pajamas throughout the entire time. It's like, the clothes are invisible. That'd be fun, you know, just a cosmetic change. Just something small and fun and inconsequential that makes you sort of go, yeah.
That would be cool, actually. And seeming as the Amiibo is Zelda's Loftwing too, like, it would have been cool to turn Link's red Loftwing into the blue one. Like, it's such a small and simple change they could have done. I just feel like the quick travel option just sounds like something that should have been in the game by default.
Yeah, it's very difficult with Amiibo to try and find that balance, because you want to make it worthwhile for the people who have bought the bloomin' Amiibo, but at the same time, you don't want to lock content away from other people. So, don't get me wrong, I don't envy Nintendo making these sort of decisions, but yeah, they definitely get it wrong, and I think this is an instance where they've veered too far into, you know, locking things away from people who don't want a little plastic figurine. Even though it is still, I'm just looking at it and it is absolutely gorgeous, isn't it?
It is. It's going to be a very expensive day. £50 for the game, 15 to 20 for this Amiibo, and then is it 70 for the Joy-Con?
Oh god, I don't know. I'm not bothering with the Joy-Con at all, because I really don't need any more Joy-Con, and No, I just really don't need any more Joy-Con.
So if you're a massive Skyward Sword fan, you might be spending £140 on July 16th.
Yikes.
And it's already a busy month. There's already a ton of other games coming out, so geez. Yeah, I think myself, I'll be buying the game in the Amiibo. And I would have bought this Amiibo regardless of the function. I'm not buying it for quick travel. God, it just grinds me the wrong way.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hard sell. I mean, if there was like a bundle where you could get the physical edition and the Amiibo, and, you know, just like, Twilight Princess HD, it was a 10 or more, then I'd grab it with both hands.
Hopefully there's some secret sauce about this game, because so far it's just Skyward Sword at 60 FPS in 1080p, which is cool, but it definitely needs more than that.
Yeah, fingers crossed that there's more that we are not yet aware of, that they're going to slap in and going to make this video outdated.
Yes, let's hope so. But I think we've ranted about a figurine for long enough. So Alex, any final thoughts on the Loftwing and Zelda Amiibo?
What sounds do Loftwings make?
They go, something like this, I think.
Okay. So my final thought is...
I literally can't remember what they sound like. It's probably just like a regular bird tweet. Like they just make a little pigeon noise.
A pigeon noise, I'd like that. Just, sort of...
Yeah. There you go. So imagine this giant beast doing that. But anyway, if you enjoyed this, let us know in the comments below, and let us know your thoughts on the Loftwing Amiibo, and what you'd rather it do if you're not happy with it being quick travel. And go to that subscribe button and tap your favourite Zelda-themed Amiibo on it, and it will take you to another place full of videos that you see in your subscription box. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
That's a crow one.